fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From A to Arbitration. Got another long episode today. Going to cover some more 6-day count stuff. Now, I've been kind of out of pocket this week. If you've reached out to me, I apologize. I've been extremely busy. Had an arbitration earlier this week. It got continued. JB took 3 hours. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But he was a witness for me. My president, Dana Chambliss, was a witness for me, and we had to continue that. I'll talk about that, like I said. Also, going through 6-day count started yesterday, and getting my station ready for a 6-day count. So, been kind of busy, out of pocket a little bit, and so I apologize if you reached out. I try to call everybody that reaches out to me, but if I missed you, I do apologize. But been a very busy week. Usually when I have arbitration, I shut everything down for a week. I don't do anything. And so, but since I started this podcast, it's kind of changed a little bit. Try to help people as much as I can, but I never want to be outworked in arbitration, ever. And so out of however many cases I've done, I have never lost the hearing. And I've lost the decision. But as far as the hearing, I've never been out prepared, and that's not going to start because I started this podcast. On FromAToArbitration.com, if you get on there, I'm allowing this guy to advertise. Now, he's not giving me a penny. He's not paying me a penny. But I met him in Brooklyn, and he works for Brookfield Uniforms, a heavy union guy. And I fell in love with this guy. Great personality. Was at the union meeting. Very strong union individual. If you get on FromAToArbitration.com, especially CCAs, it's John from Brookfield Uniforms. He's offering $100 off a full order and $150 for CCAs, plus 2 shirts for free with a full order. And so it has his phone number on there. It has his email on there. And so he asked if he could advertise. I said, absolutely you can. Like I said, fell in love with this guy. He is a big-time union supporter, was a fellow carrier. And so, I told him, absolutely, man. As somebody with your passion for my people, absolutely, you can advertise on there. Like I said, he's not giving me a penny. Also, just sent me this. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Support breast cancer awareness, and he has the postal breast cancer awareness shirts, the pink shirts. Some are black with the pink ribbon, and he's selling those as well. It's got a little scan for you to order those, and so y'all know how I feel about cancer with my brother, but this is for breast cancer awareness for the month of October, all right? So y'all get on there, order your stuff from this guy. I'm telling you, he is top rate. A fantastic individual. And so I didn't hesitate when he asked if he could advertise on here. I said, absolutely you can, my brother. Anybody that's got that passion for my people, I'll help you out as much as I can. And so, again, $100 off full order, $150 for CCAs, plus 2 shirts for free, right? Get on there and make that man rich. Anybody that helps my people, that loves my people like that, I want them to be successful, right? And so, get on there and make that man rich. Like I said, he ain't giving me a penny, and I wouldn't take one either. So, a couple of shout-outs that were sent to me, and then we're going to get in somebody's ass a little bit, and then I'll get into the 6-day count, okay? This person said, could you do me a solid and give a shout-out to Alex Townley? She is running for president of Branch 569. This young lady has been my biggest advocate and mentor. If I have any questions, talk it through and figure out the correct direction or figure out things. And so he wanted me to give a shout out to Alex Townley, running for president of Branch 569, his biggest advocate and mentor. So absolutely, anybody that's going to take time out of their life to help my people, I'll give them a shout out. This is not easy stuff, and it is a thankless job. I promise you, it is a thankless job to be a shop steward, union advocate, formally representative. Rarely ever do you have anybody, if you win an arbitration or removal, will they ever reach out to you and say thank you? Maybe a handful of people have ever done that. If you win their case in arbitration, it's a thankless job, and you spend hundreds of hours doing it. And so anybody that's going to help my people, I'll give you a shout out, absolutely. This person said, hey, Corey, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Next episode you do, if you can please send love to the letter carriers out here in Southern California, as it is literally burning up down here. And he sent me all these pictures of it on fire. Absolutely. And when he sent me this, I said a prayer for you because it looks devastating. And so absolutely, just know that those in Southern California, those fires down there look absolutely devastating. Know that I'm praying for you. And anybody that prays, send a prayer out to not only our brothers and sisters, but those individuals in Southern California. That looks terrible. But yeah, there you go, brother. I'll absolutely do that, my man. Also, let me get a shout out. I'm going to give this myself to a young lady that sent me an arbitration case she had just won. Her name is Nora Stamper. And she won this, if y'all remember a while back, we were talking about everything, grieving everything that was coming up that managers was attempting to do, all in kind of that same time period. When these memos came out, they're talking about these stationary events, the office times, hour office times, PM office times, load times, everything like that. And also these whiteboards that they were putting up. We had numerous episodes about these whiteboards. They were putting our performance up on there. And so she sent me this. They took this to hearing, and she won it. It's a fantastic job. I'll probably get Mallory to put this up for you because, like I said back then, grieve everything. Some people, some regions said don't worry about it. It's not hurting you. I'm not like that. I want to grieve every single thing that management does because I despise them. And so anything that they do, I want to put my foot in their ass. And so this was putting the foot in the ass. And so she won this decision. And I'll read you just a little bit of it. Here's the conclusion, very brief. A lot of great stuff in there, though, that we talked about on here, about 115.4 of the M39, putting our performance on these things. And this is what the arbitrator concluded. Based on the analysis above, the arbitrator finds that although the information on the monitor was displayed as route data, it amounted to carrier performance data as well as route data. The carriers are significantly familiar with the route numbers of each other. The display amounted to a publicized report card for each carrier. The absence of the carrier's name did not ascertain anonymity or privacy. Rather, highlighting performance levels in red, yellow, and green generated attention toward individual performance levels. Employees expressed the negative impact this creates in the work environment. The monitors presented the route numbers based on standards that have not been negotiated and also impact working conditions. The posted information was not determined to be accurate by either the service of the union. I think she meant or the union. Publicly posting the information was inappropriate. Although no discipline or counseling took place, the red, yellow, and green color and promptness denied the carriers the privacy protections afforded by the national agreement. The record did not clearly indicate that the service knew what the information represented, what it meant, or how it would be used. The arbitrator is left with the question, if no one knows what the data meant, where it came from, whether any benefit was derived from it, or why it is there, what is the reason for maintaining it? While some issues have gone unaddressed, they were not determined to be critical to the outcome of this matter. The union's grievance is sustained. Management shall cease and desist from violating Step 4 Settlement 853 and from publicly displaying carrier performance and or timekeeping information that can be associated with individual carriers on the display monitor. And so that's another huge win for the city letter carrier. Now, that can be used nationwide, right, as persuasive value in other arbitration cases, just like that. So great win to her, to that region. I wish everybody would have attacked it like that. Also, another thing, just a few more things, and I'm going to get into this 6-day count stuff because it's long. I think last week was 68 pages. I think this one's 78. And this kind of goes along with everything we've been talking about lately, and I will not stop bitching about stuff like this. because I think it shows the complete and utter failure of my union. And some people are tired of that. Some people are not. But I believe that the lack of leadership, and this is age old for everybody that's listened to me, I think that we have the most incompetent leadership we've ever had. I think this president will go down as the most incompetent president the NLC has ever had by a long shot. I think here's how I feel about this president. If you took 90% of the shop stewards in this country and put their resume on paper, and put his resume on paper as far as a shop steward in formal step A, and you made those nameless, he wouldn't be in the top 80%. That's how little he did at the informal A level as a shop steward and as a formal A. That's how little he performed. And if you, like I said, you take 90% of this country's shop stewards and put their resumes on paper, he wouldn't be in the top 80%. But because it's all who you know, he got in tight with Lou Drass and rode his coattails up to national. A great speaker. The kid can talk really well and is a smart young man, and is not a leader. He's not a leader, and definitely not a union leader. Even though his father, rest in peace, I sent a prayer out to him. I heard about his father passing, so I prayed for him for that. I couldn't imagine. Mine's still alive, and so I do pray for him as far as that and his family. But his father was a carrier and union man, but he is not a leader. It's just not in him. It's not in his makeup. He talks well, talks loud, comes across intelligent, but he's not a carrier as per se. He's not worked on this workroom floor. And therefore he makes stupid decisions, and these memos and stuff like that tell you all you need to know. But things keep coming out to me. When I look at them, it's the lack of leadership is the reason these things keep coming out. The reason management feels that they can do certain things is because we have a lack of leadership at the top. That trickles down to the business agents. Most of the business agents in this country aren't worth shit, and I'll just say that. They are piss poor at best. They will not represent their members. They have certain cliques that will always come out, man, they're the greatest. Bullshit. Y'all are ass kissers, and that's all that is. And so we're in big trouble as far as business agents are concerned in this country. Most of them are worthless as fuck. Our top two are worthless as hell. We have those that kiss that ass all the time, and that's all they will ever amount to. And that will be their legacy when they're defeated in this next election. Right now, the period of time that we're in is the worst I've ever seen. Right now, more than ever in our history, we need ass kickers. And the majority of the people we have are ass kissers. And so when you have more ass kissers than ass kickers, here's the type of shit you have to deal with all the time. This person put this up the other day. It says, management informed us today that they will not be using the OTDL anymore unless it's a Monday because the mail volume is too low. Everyone will be assigned undertime Tuesday through Saturday. If you refuse to do undertime, you will be placed on a 651.4, that's out of the ELM, off the clock until further notice. Station manager says it's okay if you go over on your undertime split as long as it gets done. He also stated he is tired of carriers bringing mail back saying they cannot complete assignment in undertime and refusing to go back out with undertime split. Now, this is a new scare tactic that will be used to bully carriers into doing undertime every day. So basically, do the undertime no matter what or get put off the clock until they feel you have learned your lesson. Also, routes that are evaluated at 6 hours on the street are being split only 3 ways for undertime. And I'll talk about this in a second, but Jim Rutzi, if y'all know him, Jim Rutzi came out with a fantastic thing to help them out. And I'll talk a little bit about JB in a second. Jim Rutzi said, ELM 651.4 contains the emergency placement and a non-duty, non-pay status for no bargaining unit employees, non-bargaining unit employees. In that provision, refusal to obey a direct order is grounds for such placement. We are bargaining unit employees and are therefore not covered by that provision. We are covered by Article 16.7 of the National Agreement, which does not include refusal to obey as a legitimate basis for invoking it. That threat should be grieved now. Cite M39 Section 115.4, ELM 665.24, and the joint statement, but settle for a violation of M39 115.4 if that's all you can get, along with a public rescission of the improper order and the threat. And that's the perfect answer. JB had an emergency placement the other day. Well, it's not the other day, it's several months ago. And he sent it to me, and we were talking about it, and they cited ELM 651.4. They didn't even cite 16.7. And so he sends it to me. He says, hey, I know that this is for non-bargaining unit. It's the ELM. He said, but look at the language, blah, blah, blah. And he agreed. Obviously, they threw it out because it had nothing to do with us. It's non-bargaining. And we are a bargaining unit. We're the LDLC, right? So he easily won that. But here you have management with the audacity to come out on the workroom floor and say that if you don't do this undertime, we're going to put you off the clock. Now, to me, this goes hand in hand with those scanner messages saying that all stationary events will be deducted from you, saying that we're going to give an investigative interview and either you pay us money for the stationary events or we'll give you discipline, that extortion, remember? Talked about the other thing, talking about them taking our money, had the 1017A from down south here where the shop steward beat that and also filed a labor charge. All of these things are happening. It started with these metrics way back when this stupid-ass AVP came out and said, get them out. Treat them like cattle. Had the hour office time as a metric, had the stationary events as a metric. I read that stuff to you, the data talking about how many millions of hours they're trying to recoup. And they're going to recoup those at all cost. You have upper management, you have area level, headquarters level. They don't care how management at the local level does things. They don't care that they're extorting you. They don't care that they're putting you off the clock. They will never know. They want results. They don't care about grievance payouts. They don't care about that money. The head of labor for this district told me and my business agent years ago, that's a whole different thing. GATS payouts, all those grievance payouts, that's a whole different thing. They don't even pay attention to those unless they get astronomical. That's a whole different thing. So these dumbasses at headquarters and area level, they will put out these directives. Get this time at all cost. And here's what you have. You have people going to be put off the clock. They'll win that. But at what expense? The threat has already been made. They're scared to death now. I'm going to win that grievance, but can I afford to be out 2 weeks? A month until it gets to the DRT where somebody's got some sense? We'll bring them back. The threat is there. And Jim was exactly right. You file a joint statement on that. Because in the joint statement, it talks about those whose unacceptable behavior continues. But just because it states that, you can still win a joint statement. They can still say you violated the joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace. That doesn't mean they're going to remove this person from supervising directly or indirectly city letter carriers. But they will say management will cease and desist violating the joint statement, because what does the joint statement say? Making the numbers is not the excuse for the abuse of anyone. Making the numbers is not the excuse for the abuse of anyone. Now, could you convince an arbitrator that you are trying to make the numbers? You are abusing us trying to make these numbers? You're going to come out and say that you're going to have undertime Tuesday through Saturday, even though you have no idea what the volume is. Tuesday through Saturday, we're going to give you undertime, and if you don't do the undertime, we're going to put you off the clock. I think you could very easily convince an arbitrator that's a violation of the joint statement on violence and behavior in the workplace. Making the numbers is not the excuse for the abuse of anyone. I don't know how you could abuse me any more than taking me out of a pay status. taking money from me out of my livelihood. We're on hard times right now. We don't even have a contract going on 500 days. It's hard times for the city letter carrier. We're overworked and stressed, and now you have some dumb fuck going to come onto the floor and say, if you don't do undertime, I'm putting you off the clock. Think about that right there. Think about them coming in and giving us an investigative interview and saying, if you don't pay us this money, we will give you discipline. Think about this. Think about scanner messages saying all this stationary time will be deducted. Think about them putting you on a 1017A log for stationary time, deducting that pay from you. I have never seen it like it is today. And the reason it's like that is because we have piss poor leadership that has not demolished these motherfuckers at the lowest possible level. We have bitches as business agents that have no business being in there, that are allowing this shit to go on the floor. They should be ravaging management right now at this local level. Business agents should be running around with their fucking hair on fire, lighting these motherfuckers up on this workroom floor for doing that shit. And we've got too many cowardly ass motherfuckers as business agents that have no business being there. They're too busy worried about kissing this motherfucker's ass at the top than representing city letter carriers. And those motherfuckers will be voted out. This shit right here pisses me the fuck off when I see it. When I'm business agent, I swear on my life, this shit will not happen. I will ravage this fucking region when shit like this comes up. JB will be my top fucking dog. All dogs want to be around those dogs. Junkyard dogs. They run in packs. Why? Because they're all on the same fucking mission. They're all wanting to tear some shit up. JB is a vicious motherfucker, man. A vicious motherfucker. I know he gets on here and all the women love his voice. Oh, he said, love that beautiful southern accent and all that shit. Don't let that fool you, man. That's a vicious motherfucker. And I have seen him in action. And he is fucking vicious. That's what I want. I want those like him in my office that are fucking vicious. And I can say, hey, this right here happened on this floor. Go tear some shit up. And I won't have to ask another fucking thing. And I know shit will get tore the fuck up. You don't have a handful of those in these business agents' office. Most of your business agents are bitches and cowards. Most of them. I wouldn't give you a fucking nickel for most of them. There are some that do a good job. Most of them ain't worth a fuck. I had one, somebody sent me something talking about this business agent in this meeting. He said, it's in a meeting, he said, he tried to feed us why open bargaining is bad. Postal Service will use it against us in arbitration. Claimed executive counsel and Renfro feel the same way. Said he and National claim if we make it public, we want $50, a hypothetical number. And some carriers say it settle for $42, that they will use that at arbitration against us. Also, they blame all the other unions for selling for 1.3%, and that's what we will get if we go to arbitration. These clowns are turning arbitrations as a scare tactic to drag this out. So they're left with lying to us, is what they're, because of the incompetence of our president. The executive council sucked this motherfucker's ass, right, and protected his job. Then they strong-armed people at the National Convention to vote in his favor. And that's what happened. So now we're stuck with this dumb fuck for 2 more years. So now you have business agents trying to sell this shit. We can't have open bargaining because it will hurt us in arbitration. How in the fuck is that going to hurt us in arbitration? We must have the worst negotiators in history. Hopefully our new president, when he gets in there, will fire everybody that negotiates for us. We need another negotiating team. We are so fucking scared. I remember when Renfro came out and he says, we're in the best position we've ever been in. Management is terrified of going to arbitration. Do y'all remember that? He said that. Management is terrified about going to arbitration. Now you got business agents saying, all the other unions sold us out. They went 1.3%. That's what we're going to get if we go to arbitration. They are conditioning us right now for the shit that's fixing to come our way. They're conditioning us. Can't go to open bargaining. Can't do open bargaining. That will hurt us in arbitration. How fucking stupid does that sound? Can't tell them we want $50 an hour. Congress will get involved. How fucking stupid does that sound? The thing is that they tell us that because they think we're stupid. They think that we're the stupid ones. Well, can't go to arbitration now because all the other unions took 1.3%. They're conditioning us, is what they're doing. We're stuck with incompetence for 2 more years. We're stuck with it. You see the things that management is doing now because they know of our incompetence. They know that we're not going to fight anything. They damn sure know that we're not going to fight stationary events, right? Because of our bitch-ass president talking about it's an inconvenience. Now they're stealing from the city letter carrier. Have you heard anything from the president about that? You heard anything about the president going the fuck off about that? He's going to all these different places talking. Have you heard him just bust open a fucking podium talking about them stealing from us? They're stealing from us. Have your business agents reached out to you talking about them stealing from us and what we're going to do about it? They're stealing from us. They're stealing from your brothers and sisters out there. They're telling them they're going to put them off the clock if they don't do undertime. Did you ever think it would get to that? Our office times have been reduced to 30-minute office times. Where's our 33 minutes of fixed office time? They have conditioned us. They have whipped us into submission. And here we are. They have beaten our top 2 into submission. Ponyboy, this motherfucker subjugated himself to being labor's bitch. Just going out there, just echoing all this stuff his guy talks about. Renfro, this motherfucker subjugated himself to being the Postmaster General's bitch. He has strung this along now so far that we damn near are forced to take whatever given to us. Like Mike Cariff talked about the other day. If we vote no now, you're looking at about another 6 months. But that will not keep me from voting no to some bullshit they try to give us either. We're in the worst possible position we've ever been in with the NLC, and I believe that, other than 1970. We're in the worst possible position we've ever been in because of the piss-poor, bitch-ass leadership that we have right now. The cowardice that's running this union is despicable. The cowardice we have at business agents' office is despicable. We have the most cowardly motherfuckers I've ever seen as business agents. Our national business agents are a travesty to the NLC. They're worthless as fuck. I've never seen a more worthless group of individuals than our MBAs. I would put them as being more worthless than management right now. That's how worthless they are. Management will always be lying, cheating, stealing bastards. That's just who they are. They will never be anything other than that. And this proves it to you, the things that I've been reading to you. That's how trifling and worthless they are. They will steal from you to appease their bosses. They will steal from you to make sure their bosses are happy. Look at what I did. Look at what we're doing. We've cut all this time. How'd you do it? Well, I'm putting carriers off the clock if they're not getting undertime. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. How are you getting that stationary events down? We're telling them that if they don't quit their stationary events, we're going to charge them for it. You mean money? Yeah, we told one dude $300. If he doesn't do it, pay us $300, we're going to give him discipline. Well, did the other carriers fall in line? Oh, hell yeah, that cut down all the stationary time. They're no longer taking their breaks on the street. What about this undertime? How's that going? How are you getting all this undertime? Well, we told them we was going to put them off the clock. God bless. What has happened to the National Association of Letter Carriers? What has fucking happened to us? God, what a fucking tragic mistake we made voting this dumb fucker into office. What a devastatingly stupid mistake on our part. And then the National Convention, the Executive Council, those bitch-ass motherfuckers surrounding him and threatening carriers, your union career is over with if you don't vote the way we want you to vote. Or, if he gets voted out, the contract is going to be delayed. Or if he gets voted out, you're going to have Barner in charge. Look at where we're at. Look at where we're at right now. We need new leadership in the worst possible way. We need new leadership in the worst possible way, and that's the reason I am firmly behind the CLC. I am firmly behind the CLC because I know who's in it. Fucking junkyard dogs. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want motherfucking dogs. We need that more right now than at any other time in the history of this union. The working conditions on the floor right now are worse than they've ever been. Our pay is complete shit. The grievance procedure is complete shit. The backlog of grievances is complete shit. The way that we're handling management right now is complete shit. They should be terrified of us. They should be terrified of the NLC. We will get back there. I promise you that. On my name, we will get back to that. They will fear us again. They will fear the city letter carrier again, like they used to just a few short years ago. But I see things like this, man, and it burns me the fuck up. It burns me the fuck up, man. You're going to put my people off the clock because of undertime? Based off of DOAS and PET? Based off of your projections? They know that they won't win it. Hell, they even cited the wrong fucking language. That's exactly how JB called when he called me. He said, these motherfuckers cited the ELM language. That's for non-bargaining unit employees. So, it's not going to go anywhere. But who can afford right now to be off the clock for 2 weeks? It's not going to get settled at the informal. Hell, they did it. It's not going to get settled at the formal. Hell, the postmaster probably in on it. Just let the DRT do it. And if the DRT doesn't do it, it's going to go to arbitration. It will never win an arbitration. An arbitrator's not stupid. They're going to see that shit for what it is. But what is the recourse that we have? What's the recourse for the city letter carrier against that manager? They'll get their payback. A 115.4? Wow. You possibly made me lose my house, lose a car maybe, lose some transportation. Maybe I had to get another credit card and max that out to survive because these motherfuckers are trying to make their numbers and they're abusing us to do it. Are y'all not incensed out there? Does that not enrage y'all like it did me? Does that not piss y'all the fuck off like it did me? Hell, the bad thing is when I saw it, the first thing I said is, man, my bitch-ass president. That's what I said. My bitch-ass president. For not sending out directives to these business agents who are complete fucking bitch-ass cowards. Sending out directives to these cowardly motherfuckers saying, light these motherfuckers up for doing that. But cowardice breeds cowardice, right? It's that cancer I was talking about. Cowardice breeds cowardice. We will have to do it on this workroom floor. The city letter carriers, that's the reason I said when I'm business agent, I'm going to educate every city letter carrier in my region. Every single one will know my name. I will educate every single one. And they will know that I will put everything I've got into defending them. Everything I have at my disposal, I will use to defend every single letter carrier in this region. Because that is who I fucking am. And nobody will tell me any fucking different. Not the new president, not the executive vice president, not the vice president, not the director of city delivery. Nobody will get in my fucking business. I'm going to ravage shit down here in this region like we used to do before the cowardice set in. This shit right here will get blown the fuck up if I ever hear of anything like that happening in my fucking region. I will go there myself and appoint myself as the shop steward and fuck some shit up. They are talking about putting my people off the clock because of undertime. This whole country should be in a fucking uproar. But you won't hear a fucking peep from these cowardly motherfuckers at the top. You won't hear a fucking peep from them. Do you know why? Because those motherfuckers said that we wanted a pound of flesh because of us wanting to riot because of my brother, Mr. Gates. We wanted a pound of flesh. It was our fault. We wanted a pound of flesh because of Mr. Gates. Think about that. Your union leader saying, oh, don't worry about those guys down there. They're just a little upset. They're just wanting a pound of flesh. That's your union leader saying that. You think he's going to get involved with some shit like this? That bitch-ass motherfucker? Fuck him. Fuck all of them. Every one of those motherfuckers who defended him, fuck y'all. You sorry motherfuckers, you. Now we've got motherfuckers putting us off the clock because of undertime. They sense the cowardice in our union, the blood in the water. There's fucking sharks, man. That's who they are. Because they're not going to pay any penalty for that. So they'll get their money back. They don't care. The damage has been done. The message has been sent. You're going to see carriers give undertime that they would never have. You're going to see more lunches skipped, more breaks skipped, because the message has been sent. You give me that undertime, you're going to be off the clock. They may never have to put one person off the clock. The threat is there to disrupt my livelihood. I never thought I'd have fucking seen it. I never thought I'd fucking see the day that my union is filled with this much bitch-ass cowards. It's unfucking believable, man. God. Bless America. Where we have fallen. I know this, and then I'm going to get to the 6-day count. I know this. The union as you see it today will not be this union 2 years from now. I know that for a fact. The union that you see today, the cowardice, will not be the union you see 2 years from now. You will have some rabid fucking dogs back over this union in 2 years. On my word, on my life, on my name. In 2 years, you will have rabid fucking dogs in every fucking position. These business agents will be voted out. Anybody who protects this motherfucker or protected this motherfucker at the top, those motherfuckers are gone, I'm telling you now. And they can talk all the fucking shit they want to about, well, I was going to retire, but now I'm not. Motherfucker, you're retiring. You're retiring. Voluntarily or involuntarily. Your fucking ass is retiring. You have damaged this union. Shit like this shouldn't be going on. But you cowardly bitches have fucked us over. 2 years. 2 years is all you've got. 2 fucking years. I hear all of them talking behind the fucking scenes to people. Well, I was going to retire in January, but damn, I'm going to accept the challenge. Motherfucker, retire. We are going to retire you in 2 fucking years. You worthless motherfuckers, you. My union is a disgrace right now. It's a disgrace. The fact that this shit is being done is a fucking disgrace. I love my people too fucking much. The city letter carrier. Coast to coast. I love them too fucking much to see this shit here. I've been through too fucking much with my people to see this shit here. When you love us, we talk about this all the time. When you love us and put us first, this shit right here would have y'all incensed, enraged. When I see meet these motherfuckers head on in the fucking street, that's what we should have been doing. This shit wouldn't be happening. They'd be too fucking scared. If we had a leader rattling fucking cages, this shit wouldn't be happening. If we had a competent executive vice president that wasn't hand in hand with fucking labor, this shit right here wouldn't be happening. They would know. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Who in the fuck is doing that? Because they would fear you. They would fear you. I'll give you the perfect example of what I'm talking about right here. My station, Belmead. When I first started there in 2001, I was at Ackland for, it was a station here in Nashville before that for several years. Bid to Belmead in 2001. And Belmead was notorious for being a union station, a high tenured station, right? The carriers there were called the Belmead Mafia. That's what they were called. Managers hated going there. They feared those carriers. It was called the Slaughterhouse. A bunch of different names. And it was funny because my son, my middle child, he's a clerk there. And he's been there for about 7 years now. And where he came from, he would laugh and say, you know, everybody comes in there. I tell him my dad is Corey Walton. Oh, the shop steward at Belmead. Yeah, the Slaughterhouse. That's what they'd say about us. We've had a lot of managers come in and out. Some were assholes, some were not. And we dealt with those accordingly. We're having the 6-day count. So Saturday was the first day of our 6-day count. And so I told my carriers, do what you do. Have fun. Love each other. Laugh. Talk. Play your music. Don't change anything because you got 12 or 13 or 14 managers in there watching. Don't change a thing. Laugh with each other. That's what we always do. Talk with each other. My carriers genuinely love each other. They do. They love each other. So one of the carriers comes up to me and says, hey, one of the managers over there is telling us that we got to turn our radio off. I said, all right. I said, if they tell you to turn it off, tell me. The guy who's doing the route count and inspection, who's over it, there's 2 guys that's over it. One of them that's over it was a manager back in 2006. And he knows Belmead well. He knows Belmead well. And so the carrier comes back over about 10 minutes later and said, yeah, the manager just told us to turn the radio off. I said, I'll take care of it. So I go up to this guy and I said, hey, man, why are you telling my carriers to turn the radio off? I didn't tell anybody to turn the radio off. I said, yeah. I said, some of your managers are telling these carriers to turn the radio off. He gets on the loudspeaker, calls everybody around, carriers and those managers. And he goes to fuck off. And he says, whoever the manager is that told these carriers to turn the radio off, if you do anything like that again, your ass is going home. And I will bring in a new manager to take your spot. You do not work here. You do not run this station. You do not tell carriers what to do. He said, y'all understand me? And all the managers said, yeah. When they fear you because they know who in the fuck you are, the Belmead fucking Mafia, the Slaughterhouse, the Butcher Shop, when they fear you, they know. Don't you fuck with these motherfuckers. They will turn this motherfucking station upside down. Y'all keep your fucking mouth shut. Let these carriers work. Don't fuck with them. You do not want their fucking retribution on your ass. We don't have that in our union. We don't have that fear by management of us. At every fucking level. You do know why? We've not educated anybody like we should have in these regions. Because the educators are cowards themselves. They don't fear us at any level from the headquarters down to the fucking workroom floor. Because of cowardice. If they did, they would tell all of their managers, don't you fucking fuck with those guys. If they did, they would tell every manager, don't you fuck with them. Those motherfuckers will set shit upside down. Those days are coming back. I promise you, or I would have nothing to do with the CLC. if I didn't think that 100%. If I didn't think that the CLC was going to turn shit upside fucking down when they get into office day fucking one, I wouldn't have nothing to do with them. I know what I want in a union. I know what I want as far as my leaders and the representation. I know what I want. I want vicious motherfuckers, man. I want vicious motherfuckers to when shit happens, other managers tell people, don't do that shit. I want district managers to fear us saying, hey, whoever the motherfucker is that's saying they're going to put people off the clock for undertime, get back to doing whatever you used to do in clerking or whatever. You're not doing that shit here. You're not going to set this fucking district on fire because this business agent's going to come in here wrecking shit because you're stupid fucking ass. That's fear. And we don't have it. We need to be the one dictating that fear, right? When we walk in the room, they need to fear us. They need to fear us when we walk in that fucking room. They don't need to look in the other managers and say, here's those cowardly motherfuckers right here. That's what they do. When the NELC walks in the room, whatever room that is, whether it's in the informal meeting, the formal meeting, the DRT, arbitration room, pre-arbs, district level, area level, national level, when we walk in the room, those motherfuckers should sit the fuck up because they fear the fuck out of us. They laugh at us, man. They laugh at us who we fucking are. Fuck, man, I've been fucking 2-3 fucking weeks, man. I've been just trying to chill on here. Just get back to educating, but motherfucker, fuck. God dang, man. Shit is out of control on these workroom floors, and where in the fuck is my union? God bless. All right, let's get into this 6-day count. A lot of shit to read. Motherfucker, I've been bitching for 52 minutes. All right. All right. We're going to get to this 6-day count. Like I said, it's 78 pages of it, but I'm going to read it. That's the best way to fucking learn is to listen. If you can't read it yourself, listen to it again, right? I read 68 pages last week. This is probably going to be a lot of the same stuff. However, muscle memory in your mind, right? Again, you've got a lot of great things out there for 6-day counts. And we need to be taking advantage of all of them. Every single one. Management right now, they will do whatever they've got to do to be dishonest, disloyal. That's who they are. It's in their nature. They're just fucking dishonest. Now, the young lady who walked with me Saturday, I had my day that they rode with me. My day of inspection is Wednesday, but they have an additional ride day. Mine was Saturday. The young lady who went with me was extremely professional. Normally, I don't talk. I always act like they're not even with me. She was extremely professional, one of the most professional ones I've ever been with. Extremely respectful. And you respect me, I'll respect you. That's just the way it is. That's mutual respect, right? When we talk about 115.4. That's just how I am. I'm not an asshole. I know people think that I am, but I'm not. I'm the exact opposite of that. In my station, you would never know that I was there. I come in, I do my job, and I go home. I'm not one of those worthless son of a bitches that they look at me like, that guy right there, he's the shop steward. I should have known. That's not me. You never know that I'm there. I case my route, go deliver it, and then I go home. Okay? This young lady who was with me, very professional, very respectful, did a great job. So I appreciated that because that's an exception to the rule. But they are dishonest, most of them. They are dishonest. And the 6-day count, it's a culmination of their dishonesty, is the 6-day count. There's 2 stations being done in my city, mine and Woodbine. And so the MCSO goes out to Woodbine midweek and he says, hey, apartment routes, y'all will no longer take the parcels to the apartments, to the door. You're going to take them to the office, or if they don't have any, or to the lockers, and if they don't have any lockers, bring them back. But you will no longer take them to the door. Okay? Obviously, that's a grievance. But that's how dishonest they are. They will come in midweek. Now, we'll grieve that, and about 6 months from now, we'll win that, right? We've already filed a grievance in Nashville on that. We've already won it. And, of course, we had the knock and drop episode many episodes ago, back when we were getting ready for T-Raps, kind of the same things here. When we was getting ready for T-Rap, talking about route protection things, we had the knock and drop where manager says, just knock on the door and drop it and leave. And we've already won that. That'll be under, now write this down if they're doing that to y'all, or you can go back and find the episode. But it's M41, section 322.31. It's the M41, section 322.31. Last sentence, 2 sentences. For any parcel that does not fit into the customer's mailbox or parcel locker, when available, an attempt to deliver must be made at the customer's door. If no one is available to receive the parcel, follow the procedures in 322.311 and 322.312. Okay? So again, that's M41, section 322.31. Last 2 sentences. For any parcel, any is the key word, for any parcel that does not fit into the customer's mailbox or parcel locker when available, an attempt to deliver must, highlight that, underline it, and circle that. That's always a great word for us. Doesn't say should or might, as I always say in arbitration. It says must be made at the customer's door, not at the parcel locker, not at the office, at the customer's door. Okay, so there's one for you. They're trying to do that shit. Had another person send me something that says, hey, do me a favor, please, and stress once again the importance of showing up during the week of inspection. Now, I've got a couple of people that are on leave and taking leave at the beginning of the year, but it is important for you to show up the week of inspection. Here's one. Notification of an upcoming route count October 5th. A postmaster from Norman, Oklahoma named this came in and is trying to force the letter carriers to not case their spurs separate from their flats. No rubber banding for our flats. Can't load the case with their helicopter flats. Must cut each strap as it's placed on the ledge. Cannot mark up mail. There's a laundry list of shit. Ask for copies of it from the supervisor. And so these are things that you just, once you know, once you educate yourself, these things are very easy to beat, okay? And that's the reason we do these things. Again, you've got podcasts out there doing things about route count inspection. I talked last week about John Murphy's YouTube video. He's got another route count inspection, an overview by Gloria Moore. Route count and inspection, an overview by Gloria Moore. Listen to that. Anything that you can do to educate yourself on 6-day counts, it's invaluable. If you ever wanted to be an expert at anything other than Article 16, be an expert at Article 16, because that costs us our livelihoods. 6-day counts. 6-day counts. 2 reasons. Don't want your people fucked over, and you can make a fortune for your carriers if you're educating the 6-day counts. It's the greatest expenditure that the Postal Service will do. It's the single greatest expenditure. That's the reason they hate doing them. Now, they're going to take all of your routes and make you fight to get them back, but you'll get them back. You're going to make a shit ton of money, and they're back at square zero, right? That's just how it is. It's the biggest expenditure they'll make. They got 12 managers in my station. All 12 they have brought up from different areas, and they're keeping them in a hotel. 12 managers in a hotel for a week, and then you're still going to lose this shit through the grievance procedure. That's a lot of money. And I say this, and I will always say this. In 6-day counts, I set out to punish management. I want to punish them for what they've done. They're going to affect an entire station off of greed. That's as simple as it gets. They're going to try to affect an entire station based off of greed. I want to punish them, and I have. I've done numerous 6-day count arbitrations. And I have punished them in there. And I love it. I want my carriers to be rich off of the postal service's incompetence. That's what I want. So, anybody that's trying to educate you, listen to it. Any training that's being given, go to it. You got John Murphy's YouTube video, watch it. These other podcasts, listen to them. All right? All right, let's get into it. Mail counts and route inspections under Chapter 2 of the M39. Here goes 78 pages of it, babies. 78 pages. Code of conduct. Don't know why this is in there. NELC is committed to providing an environment free from discrimination and harassment regardless of an individual's race, ethnicity, religion, color, sex, age, national origin, sexual orientation, disability, gender identity or expression, ancestry, pregnancy, or any other characteristic prohibited by law. We ask you to embrace our values of equity and equitability and equality and conduct yourself accordingly. This meeting has a designated individual as the first point of contact for anyone who feels they have experienced discriminatory, harassing, or otherwise unacceptable behavior. We urge you to contact them if you have any concerns. Designee Ken Raker, available in the headquarters office, 160 BC. Overview. Principles of route inspections. Requirements prior to the week of count and inspection. The week of count and inspection. Requirements after the week of count and inspection. Carrier input and consultations. Route adjustments, DOAS and core. Forms used in count and inspection. Carrier optimal routing, core. Principles of route inspections. Routes must be adjusted to as near 8 hours as possible. Now remember that, right? We talked about this already when we was reading those cites, and I'll have more cites for you later. I think that those are invaluable, that you have a lot of cites to read. You'll know where arbitrators kind of get their opinions on things, okay? And there's a lot of different cites for arbitrations because you'll grieve a lot of different things. And so routes must be adjusted to as near 8 hours as possible. What do arbitrators consider to be the maximum on that? On those sites, what did they consider to be the maximum? 8:15, right? 8 hours and 15 minutes is kind of the threshold there. That's kind of where they will say that right there is the limit. 8 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, and you got those sites to justify that. Routes must be adjusted to as near 8 hours as possible. Only the regular carrier's time is used. Vacant routes, route inspector qualifications, 52-day time limit for adjustments. Principles of route inspections. Multiple days of inspections, PS Form 1838C and PS Forms 3999. Excludes Saturday on routes with abbreviated or no Saturday delivery. Let me talk about that for a second. Excludes Saturday on routes with abbreviated or no Saturday delivery. If you have a route that's a majority business, okay, so maybe 50% of theirs is closed, that will be excluded from the 6-day count. That abbreviated delivery will be excluded. Here's what you need to look out for, and this is something that we've dealt with in arbitration. Management will say, being as we took out the lowest day Saturday, we will take out the highest day. It's only fair. So Monday, we will take that out because the volume is excessively high on Monday. We'll take that out. No such language. There is no such language that justifies that. Remember that, okay? The language states clearly that you exclude Saturday because of abbreviated or no Saturday delivery. There's nothing about making that even by taking out the heaviest day. We've dealt with that before. Be careful with that. All right? Be careful with that. Discipline for not making standards. Canceling inspection. Routes must be adjusted to as near as 8 hours as possible. The proper adjustment of carrier routes means an equitable and feasible division of the work among all the carrier routes assigned to the office. All regular routes should consist of as nearly 8 hours daily work as possible. The count of mail is used to gather and evaluate data to adjust routes fairly and equitably, to ensure that the workload for each route will be as near as possible to an 8-hour workday for the carrier. And that's Handbook M39, Section 242.122, Handbook M41, Section 911.2. Vacant routes. Standard office time and 1840B street time is used if a regular carrier is assigned but not present during the week of count. Vacant routes with no carrier assigned must have a qualified replacement carrier. That's critical. Vacant routes with no carrier assigned must have a qualified replacement carrier. That's Handbook M39, Section 241.3, 2018 NELC Guide to Route Inspections, page 3. Route Inspector Qualifications. Any member of management team may be used. Must be familiar with inspection procedures. Local supervisors and station managers should perform normal duties when their assigned unit is being inspected. And that's Handbook M39, Section 216. Canceling adjustments. When the continuation of any inspection would serve no useful purpose, the inspection may be canceled at management's discretion. A cancellation may apply to an entire delivery unit or to one or more routes of a group of routes being inspected. Any cancellation made must be discussed with the carrier concerned, giving the reasons. When the cancellation is for the entire unit, the discussion must be with the unit steward. That's Handbook M39, Section 233. Before the week of count and inspection, management is required to take several initial steps before it conducts a route examination. These include: management must complete an annual route and unit review. And they didn't do that at Belmead. We've already agreed that. And what I did was I had my branch president assign JB as my steward. And so he's going to handle all the grievances coming out of my station for these route count inspections. And so he's already grieved this, and he's got another grievance coming. My president, Dana Chambliss, is a 6-day count expert. She is a qualified expert. And so she's going to handle the formal step A, and that way I'll be free to handle the arbitration if it goes to arbitration. So I've got JB at informal, my branch president at formal, and I will be the advocate if it goes that far. Management must provide certain notices in advance. Management must conduct a dry run with the letter carrier on the completion of PS Form 1838C. Unit route reviews. Before a route examination begins, management must have completed an annual route and unit review. Results of the review must be shared with the union and letter carriers prior to proceeding with a mail count and inspection. The review itself consists of identifying problems and correcting unsatisfactory conditions such as inadequate case labels, carrier case equipment, and the amount of missent or misthrown mail distributed to the routes. A lot of people I see on social media have said that management has come in and they're taking out part of their casing equipment the week before the inspection. That would be a grievance to me. It says the review itself consists of identifying problems and correcting unsatisfactory conditions such as inadequate case labels, carrier case equipment. And so if they're going to come in right before the 6-day count and start moving equipment, wings, or whatever, I would say that would be a grievance. That's Handbook M39, Section 211.1. Schedule the count and inspection period in advance. The period selected for the mail count and route inspection should be determined as far in advance as possible, and the local union should be notified of this schedule. If it is necessary to change the period, the local union should be notified of the revised schedule as far in advance as practicable. Handbook M39, Section 211.2. Specific notice requirements, posting schedules. 5 working days before the start of the count, management must post a notice giving the schedule of the count week and the day and date of inspection. You must be given 1 day advance notice if management changes the day of inspection to a different date. Y'all hear me? You must be given 1 day advance notice if management changes the day of inspection to a different date. No later than Wednesday preceding the count week, carrier schedules should be posted for those routes requiring an earlier start time to count the mail. Handbook M39, Section 215.1 and 215.2. Handbook M41, Section 913 and 921.23. Dry run count must be conducted within 21 days prior to the start of the count and route inspection. Management must teach carriers how to complete PS Form 1838C. That's Handbook M39, Section 217. Drawing lots for the second week random time card analysis, PS Form 1840B, commonly referred to as 1840B street time, consists of 7 randomly selected weeks prior to the count and the week following the count. Y'all hear me? Consists of 7 randomly selected weeks prior to the count and the week following the count. Within the 4 weeks prior to the start of the count, the union representative will make a random drawing of lots numbered 1 to 4 to determine weeks. Handbook M39, Section 242.323. Then it's got pictures of 1840B. I have Mallory put this up for you, okay, so y'all can get this if y'all want to just read it when you get bored at home sometime. During the week of count and inspection, management conducts the mail count and route inspection over 6 consecutive delivery days on one-trip routes or for 5 consecutive days, excluding Saturday, on 2-trip routes or one-trip routes with abbreviated or no Saturday delivery. Handbook M39, Section 221.11. During the week of count and inspection, annual leave during count week, overtime during count week, auxiliary assistance during count week, multiple days of inspection, Saturday exclusion from the count for routes with abbreviated or no delivery on Saturday, no changes to clerk operations during the week of count, discipline for not making standards. During the week of count and inspection, office time work allowances, completing the PS Form 1838C, PS Form 1838C line items, street time, carriers perform duties the same as they do throughout the year. All mail distributed to the route should be delivered. Conduct of examiners, comfort stops, PS Form 3999, daily totals, PS Form 1838. Annual leave during count week. All advance commitments for granting annual leave must be honored except in serious emergency situations. Absences for other than emergencies will not be granted during the week of count and inspection if it can be anticipated that there will be a count and inspection of the carrier routes at an installation to the extent possible. Planning for that inspection should normally be completed before annual leave bidding begins. Handbook M39, Section 211.4, M Document 1105. Overtime during count week. Article 8 overtime provisions and associated memorandums of understanding remain in full effect during the week of count. Exceptions for non-ODL carriers. Day of inspection, DOI, when accompanied by route examiner. On other days during the week of inspection for the amount of time to count mail. Handbook M39, Section 221.137, M Document 1106. Auxiliary assistant during count week. Auxiliary assistance should not be granted during count week except in very limited circumstances. When auxiliary street assistance is given, add to the regular carrier street time the actual time that it took him or her to deliver that same portion of the route on the day of inspection. Do not use the replacement street time. Obtain actual time from Form 3999. I'll read that again. When auxiliary street assistance is given, add to the regular carrier street time the actual time that it took him or her to deliver that same portion of the route on the day of the inspection. Do not use the replacement street time. Obtain actual time from the Form 3999. Handbook M39, Section 221.138 and 241.35. Multiple days of inspection. Management may schedule a route inspection on no more than 3 days during the week of route count and inspection. Management completes the PS Form 1838C on only 1 day. Carrier can still verify the count. Let me repeat that because here's a point of contention. A lot of management teams will say you count the mail every day except the day of inspection. That is not true. Management completes the PS Form 1838C on only 1 day. That's your day of inspection. They will complete it. Carrier can still verify the count. Management will count the mail on the day of inspection, and they will fill out the form. You still have the right to verify that count. When local management elects to inspect on 2 or 3 days, the PS Form 3999 closest to the selected time on the PS Form 1840 reverse will be used to transfer territory. Now here's the contractual language, and this is going to help you on the 1 day count. Now we've done that before about verifying the count. MOU regarding multiple days of inspection, JCAM page 4160 and M 1777. Saturday excluded on routes with abbreviated or no delivery. Saturday is excluded from the count on routes that have abbreviated or no Saturday delivery. There is no requirement to exclude Monday when Saturday is excluded, and that's what I talked about earlier. It is not mandatory that counts begin on Saturday. Handbook M39, Section 221.11. Pay attention to that. There is no requirement to exclude Monday when Saturday is excluded. There will be those stations where they will try to do that. We have dealt with that before. They'll say, hey, since we take out Saturday, abbreviated delivery, we're going to take out Monday. It's only fair. There's no requirement to do that. And we'll win that in arbitration. We will win that if they try to do it. I'll try to find some of those sites for you and do those maybe next week. Okay, because I know that's going to come up. It happens because they're too fucking dishonest. No changes to clerk operations. There should be no changes in normal distribution procedures or clerical schedules during the period of mail counts. The normal cutoff time for distribution should be observed. Handbook M39, Section 221.132. Discipline for not making standards. No carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards except in cases of unsatisfactory effort, which must be based on documented, unacceptable conduct that led to the carrier's failure to meet office standards. Handbook M39, Section 242.332. Office time work allowances, 18 and 8 casing standards, 70 pieces per minute pull down. Lines 8 through 13, time credits for specific functions, markups. Lines 14 through 21, minimum time allowances. Lines 22 through 23, time deducted. Handbook M39, Section 222. PS Form 1838C, carrier's count mail, letter carrier, routes, worksheet. The carrier should count and record the mail every day except on the day of inspection, when the mail must be counted and recorded by a manager. On 1 or more days during the count week, each route will be inspected by a manager. When management performs the mail count, the carrier serving the route upon request may verify the mail count. That's Handbook M39, Section 221.31. Now listen, this is critical. When you're counting mail, you get no time for that, for your route, right? All of that time will be deducted. So if you count mail for 10 minutes, you're 10 minutes behind. Remember that. You're going to have to make up that 10 minutes. So if you count mail for 10 minutes and you finish in 8 hours, really you finished in 7 hours and 50 minutes because that 10 minutes of counting is coming off. Count as fast as you can. Count as fast as you can. Don't dawdle when you're counting. Count the mail, put the post-it notes on there, and be done with it. That way you don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to make that time back up. All right, hope this makes sense. If you've got a lot of 22 and 23 time, if you got 30 minutes of that, your route's 30 minutes short. You got to make that up. If you're on an 8-hour route, you're going to have to do 8 hours and 30 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? 8 hours and 30 minutes, because that 30 minutes is coming off of you for line 22-23. PS Form 1838C, lines 1 through 13. Mail volumes recorded in AM, PM. Letters, flats and spurs, accountable mail, parcels, sequence mail, box holders, second-class mail markups, change of addresses, insured receipts, DPS volume. PS Form 1838C, lines 14 through 23. Line 14, accountable mail, 6-minute minimum. And that pisses me off. I've talked about this before. Accountable mail, back when I started, they used to bring around a accountable cart. Your certifieds would be in there. You'd fill out the form, put it in your case. We've lost all of that because the union didn't file a national level grievance about management putting our certifieds into DPS. We lost all of that time credit in the office. Now, they still get a 6-minute minimum, but we've lost all of that time. Right? Because we didn't file a national level grievance about them changing a working condition, which is accountable mail that's brought around to us, certified mail. Management has arbitrarily decided to put every bit of that in our DPS, so we get no time credit for that in the office now. All of that's gone. Line 15, withdrawal of mail, 5-minute minimum. Line 16, sequencing and collating mail, actual time. Line 17, strapping out time, actual time, seldom used. Line 18, 10-minute office break, local option. Line 19, vehicle inspection, 3-minute minimum. Line 20, personnel time, 5-minute fixed, not on the form. Line 21, recurring office work, not covered by other line items, 9-minute minimum. Line 22, non-recurring office work, time deducted. Line 23, counting mail and filling out PS Form 1838C, time deducted. Line 22 and 23 are not your friends. Make sure that you add that up when you leave for the street. You got to get that back. Line 22 and 23 are not your friends. Recording line items and clock rings. Actual time entries. Record beginning and end time each event. Lines 21 and 22 require comments. Multiple entries of lines 21 and 22, 21A, 21B, 21C, etc. All recorded times rounded up to the nearest minute. Clock rings recorded in hundredths. Perform duties the same during the week of count. In order that a fair and reasonable evaluation may be made by management, carriers must perform their duties and travel their routes in precisely the same manner on inspection day as they do throughout the year. Handbook M41, Section 915. And that's a big one because they will always try to change things. Change this. Change the way you do that. When you grieve it, Section 915 of the M41, in order that a fair and reasonable evaluation may be made by management, carriers must, there's that word again, it's a beautiful word, perform their duties and travel their routes in precisely the same manner as on inspection day as they do throughout the year, because it's your route, as you do throughout the year. Deliver all the mail. There should be no accumulation of mail on the day before the count starts. No mail should be curtailed on the last day of the count. All classes of mail available to the carrier must be routed and delivered. No casing of mail the day prior to the count. Handbooks M39, Section 221.134 and M41, Section 921.11. And this is something we had a point of contention Saturday in my office. We had a shitload of mail and about 3 or 4 sets of occupants. And so one of the carriers asked one of the people that was doing a stand-up, what about all this mail? Is it all going out? And he's like, well, if you curtail mail, and I stopped him. I said, we will not curtail one piece of mail. And so the guy said, well, there you have it. You're not going to curtail any mail. You're not going to curtail one piece of mail. All classes of mail available to the carrier must be routed and delivered. You know what that means? Every piece, every day. All the mail will be delivered. If it takes y'all to 8 o'clock at night because y'all had so much mail, it just takes you to 8 o'clock at night. We will not curtail mail into the next day. All mail must be delivered. Conduct of examiners. Route examiners must not supervise the carrier. They are there to observe. Attempt to set the pace for the carrier. There are no street standards. Suggest or forbid any rest or comfort stops. Discuss on the day of inspection mail volumes or potential evaluation of the route. I'm going to read that again. Route examiners must not supervise the carrier. If this happens to you city letter carriers, make sure you inform your shop steward when you get back. Ask for time to see them. They're there to observe only. Attempt to set the pace for the carrier. There are no street standards, right? There's no load time. There's no 22-minute load time. There's no set pace at which I must walk. There's no PM office time as far as 5 minutes. Suggest or forbid any rest or comfort stops. Discuss on the day of inspection mail volumes or potential evaluation of the route. Route examiners must make notations and comments on the day of inspection, DOI, of items that need attention or improvement, including comments by the carrier. Comments and suggestions should be clear and detailed for later discussion with the carrier and to make adjustment decisions. Handbook M39, Section 231.1, M304, and M1769. And like I said, the young lady who went with me Saturday, extremely professional. Extremely professional. I had nothing but great things to say when I got back. She handled herself professionally. She sat in the vehicle. Matter of fact, hell, I had to go back and do something. I said, hey, put that on there that I had to go back. And there was something that fell out of my loop, and I didn't see it until I got back. A couple of houses down, I noticed that there was a small parcel that came out of my loop when I picked it up out of my bag. And so I said, hey, write me down for a backtrack right here. And but I will always be that way. I'm not there to gain anything. Just leave me alone. Let me deliver my stuff and go home. That's all I want to do. I'm not trying to fuck anybody over. I just don't want to be fucked over. And so, comfort stops. Reasonable comfort stops will not be deducted from the carrier's actual time. Now, who defines reasonable? Right? Who defines reasonable? It will not be management. They will not determine what the definition of reasonable is. Right? Management may try to deduct time for reasonable comfort stops. Any deduction should be discussed with the carrier. Reasonable has no exact definition. Controlled by nature, geography, weather, or personal circumstances, or age. And I added that. My station has a lot of old carriers. I'm old. I'm 55. It has a lot of old carriers in there. I've got a carrier in there that started 2 months before I was born. He's still delivering. Just by that, just by my age and my body, I would probably need more comfort stops than those young bucks coming up. Just the way it is. It's nature. It's my body. I'm probably going to need more comfort stops than some young whippersnapper coming in there. Handbook M39, Section 242.341 and M Document 242. PS Form 3999, Inspection of Letter Carrier Route, Purpose, Record Observations, and Transfer Territory. The front portion contains, and this is a PS Form 3999, the front, basic information for type of route and a carrier inspected, total elapsed time for major events, leave office, lunch, return to office, vehicle mileage, totals reflected or off after deductions, Examiners answer to 26 questions, only used for recommendations. Yes and no answers are not used for deductions or disciplinary action. Handbook M39, Section 234.12 and 234.13. PS Form 3999 Reverse. The reverse portion contains allied time, functions, and delivery time. All blocks delivered on the route. Possible deliveries, residential and business. Deliveries made, residential and business. Time entries for each event, HHMMSS, hours, minutes, seconds. Travel patterns, line of travel to and from office. Delivery methods, park, loop, vehicle, dismount. Handbook M39, Section 234.14. Editing the PS Form 3999. Unedited PS Form 3999 is uploaded to Delivery Operations Information System, DOIS. Sources are Data Collection Device, the DCD, Mobile Delivery Device, Technical Refresh, MDDTR Scanner, Direct Manual Input into DOIS, aka Manual 3999. Editing the PS Form 3999 in DOIS leaves an audit trail. 3999 Audit Trail. Data capture date is the day of the 3999. 1 is the initial entry on 3999. 2 is a change in time from 1. 3 is a change to 2, and so on. A number 1 without a 2 is a deletion of the original entry. See the 2018 NELC Guide to Route Inspections, pages 157. 3999 Data Capture Summary Screen. Screenshot only. Shows summary of major events. Shows total possible deliveries and total deliveries made. Data capture date. Identifies full or partial 3999. See the 2018 National Guide to Route Inspection, page 160. 3999 Function Analysis Screen. Data capture date is the day of the 3999. Displays total allied times. Includes all non-recurring time. Miscellaneous other is added back to the total. Replenish. See the 2018 NELC Guide to Route Inspections, pages 162. PS Form 1838, Carrier's Count of Mail Letter Carrier Routes, Management Summary. Daily record of data collected during count, volumes and markups, office and street times, line item totals, puts the 1838C and street data together. 1838 data is transferred to PS Form 1840. After the week of count and inspection, the 8th week and the PS Form 1840B, PS Form 1840, office time selections, street time selections, carrier consultations. 8th week PS Form 1840B. Week following the count week is included in the 1840B time. Review PS Forms 3996. Review auxiliary assistance for 8 weeks. PS Form 1840, Carrier Delivery Route, Summary of Count and Inspection. Average daily office time, average daily street time, 1840B time, average total time, volume averages, line item averages, and percentage deliveries made. PS Form 1840, Office Selections. Exception to office standards. An exception may be made for carriers who have served continuously for 25 years or more or are over 55 years of age. Before making an exception, determine that the carrier cannot meet the standard office time and that his or her conduct and performance are otherwise satisfactory. The office time allowed for an exempted carrier must be reasonable and be determined by management, and that would be big for my office. An exception may be made for carriers who have served continuously for 25 years or more and are over 55 years of age. Before making an exception, determine that the carrier cannot meet the standard office time and that his or her conduct and performance are otherwise satisfactory. PS Form 1840, Office Selections. Volume Adjustments. No mail volume adjustments will be made to carrier office work, casing and strapping out functions, or street work evaluations unless the mail volume for the week of count and inspection is at least 13% higher or lower than the average mail volume for the period between the most recent regular and current inspection, excluding the months of June, July, and August, and December. Handbook M39, Section 242.312. PS Form 1840, Office Selections. Total office time credit. Under normal conditions, the office time allowance for each letter route shall be fixed at the lesser of the carrier's average time used to perform office work during the count period or the average standard allowable office time. Handbook M39, Section 242.311. PS Form 1840, Street Selections. 2 street time selection choices. Average of 8-week 1840B street time. Average street time per week of count. Documentation required. The manager will note by explanatory comment on the reverse of Form 1840 or attachments thereto why the base street time allowance for the route was established at the time selected. The manager's selection of the street time allowance cannot be based on the sole criterion that the particular time selected was the lower. And I read one of those arbitration sites to y'all a few weeks back when I had all those sites. One of them was very good about that. I'll read that again. The manager will note by explanatory comment on the reverse of Form 1840 or attachments thereto why the base street time allowance for the route was established at the time selected. The manager's selection of the street time allowance cannot be based on the sole criterion that the particular time was selected was the lower, and that's what they will do. Handbook M39, Section 242.321 and 242.322. PS Form 1840, Street Selections. Improper deductions of street time. Management may not make deductions for failure to finger mail or take shortcuts. Local management, not the examiner, provides instructions. An effort to reinspect the route prior to adjustment should be made. I'm going to read that again. Management may not make deductions for failure to finger mail or take shortcuts. Local management, not the examiner, provides instruction. Remember that, and that's exactly what that gentleman said Saturday when I said it's time to turn the radio off. He said, y'all did not work here. Y'all did not manage these carriers. He got in their ass pretty good. Deductions due to operational change claims. Any changes to the carrier's base street time must be documented. Any proposed changes must be discussed with the carrier. Handbook M39, Section 242.344 and 242.345. Carrier consultations, and here's a big one. Here's a big one. This is one where we'll always get them because they're too fucking lazy to do their job. 2 consultations with carrier. Evaluation consultation. PS Form 1838 and 1840 provided to the carrier. Time disallowances on the PS Form 1840. Days excluded from the PS Form 1840B. Adjustment consultations. Consideration of relief or addition to the route. Carrier's comments must be documented and considered. That's one of those sites that I told you about. The arbitrator was saying that they didn't consider the carrier's comments. That's the reason carriers, when you get that day to go in there, your consultation, make sure you raise hell. Make sure you speak up for yourself. It is very critical to us as advocates that you do that. Management may not consider it. You may think it's a waste of time. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Why do I even need to bother with this? It is critical to the advocate and the shop steward in the formal step A. It's critical that you do that. That when you get in there for that consultation, that you tell them exactly how you feel, exactly what you want, don't want, and so that way when they don't consider it, we can get them with that grievance. Evaluation consultation. PS Forms 1838 provided to carrier 5 days prior to consult, M39 241.4. PS Form 1840 provided to carrier 1 day prior to consult, M39 241.4. All time disallowances on PS Form 1840 provided 1 day in advance, M39 242.347. Days excluded from the 1840B 8-week analysis, M39 242.346. Documented reasons provided to carry within 7 days. Exclusion is not allowed if documentation is not provided within 7 days. Route adjustment consultation. Discussion with carrier on proposed addition or relief. Carrier comments recorded on the PS Form 1840 reverse. No carrier signature required. Carrier comments cannot be ignored. And that's the reason it's critical. See 2018 Route Inspection Guide, page 62. Handbook M39, section 243.11. Route adjustments, DOAS and CORE. Route adjustments are made using one of two systems. Delivery Operations Information System, DOAS. Carrier Optimal Routing, CORE. DOAS uses a more simplified method of transfer of delivery segments and resequencing of delivery order. CORE is more complex and uses mapping data along with automatic calculations for both office and street time as well as allied functions. Differences in DOAS and CORE 1840 reverse. DOAS uses whole minutes. CORE uses minutes and seconds. DOAS generated 1840. Relief or addition is shown in whole numbers. CORE generated 1840. Relief or addition is shown in minutes and seconds. Stewards should look for: if the route was inspected more than 3 days, the $39.99 closest to the selected street time is used in adjustment. Compare net street on PS Form 1840 to Tax Employee Everything Report. Verify auxiliary time is correctly recorded. Review PS Form 3996. Review PS Forms 1838C, 1838, 1840 for proper office time credit. Was proper street time selected, 8-week or week of count? Review PS Form 1840B for exclusion of days. Stewards should look for: look for waiting street time on the PS Form 1838. Now, stewards, y'all are going to have to scour over these things. And it's a pain in the ass, but it is critical that you do that. Look for waiting street time on the PS Form 1838. And make sure your carrier is aware of it so that they can defend themselves against that, all right? Review the PS Form 3999 for deducted time. Review examiner comments. Request original and edited 3999 along with examiner's notes. I'll say that again. Review original and edited 3999 along with examiner's notes. Review the 3999 audit trail report for edits made to original 3999. Review DOAS function analysis and data summary screens. Look for manual or miscellaneous office street adjustments on 1840 reverse. Territory transfer. To determine the territory to be transferred to or from any route, consider that A. Scheme changes should be kept to a minimum and simplified where possible. B. Routes should be compact, avoiding dog legs, and should not cross zip code boundaries except in unusual circumstances. Routes should begin and end as near as possible to the delivery unit or transportation. D. Excessive retracing or deadheading should be avoided. Adjustments should be made so that future growth may be absorbed by auxiliary routes. Variations in territory, mail volume, and methods of delivery will affect the final adjustment. Handbook M39, section 243.232. Rules for adjustments. Routes more than 8 hours. Permanent relief may be provided by reducing carrier office or street time. Consider items such as additional segmentations, use of routers, handoffs, relocating vehicle parking, withdrawal of mail by clerks or mail handlers, providing a cart system for accountable items, etc. Routes less than 8 hours. On routes where the evaluated time is less than 8 hours, make permanent additions by transferring territory through a realignment of the territory in the delivery unit. This realignment could reduce or eliminate an existing auxiliary route, reduce a regular route to auxiliary status, or eliminate it entirely. Handbook M39, Section 243.21 and 243.22. Forms used in count and inspections. PS Form 1840B, PS Form 1838C, PS Form 1838, PS Form 1840, PS Form 1840 Reverse, DOAS or Core, PS Form 3999, 3999 Data Capture Summary Screen, 3999 Audit Trail Report, 3999 Function Analysis Screen. See 2018 NELC Guide to Route Inspections. Carrier Optimal Routing Core has got a map there for you. Adjusting Territory, the Core MOUs. M1766, a guide for using Core. Detailed guide for knowing all functions of the Core program. Includes signed agreement on the use of Core and route adjustments. Travel to, travel from, and travel within must be validated, documented, and discussed with the carrier during consultations. Adjusting Territory, the Core MOUs. M1859, time credit for relays on route adjustments using Core. Relays that remain unchanged are credited with actual $39.99 time. New relays will be discussed and reviewed with the regular carrier. Adjustments to relay time are documented on the PS Form 1840 Reverse. Core reports, existing route summary, adjusted route summary, allied time report, line of travel report, resequencing delivery points, route summary report, territory transfer summary report, volumes, PS Form 1840 Reverse Core. Existing route summary, and it's got a little page there for you. If you download this, you'll be able to see all these pages. Adjusted route summary, another page for you to look at. Allied time report, it shows the report. Line of travel report, shows the report. Resequence delivery points, shows that report. Route summary report, shows that report. Territory transfer summary report, shows those reports. Volumes, shows that. PS Form 1840 Reverse Core, shows that report so you know what you're looking at. Key points for discussion. Prior to territory movement in Core, view the Core map for accuracy. Verify correct PS Forms 3999 are used for each route. Compare Core existing summary reports to time on PS Forms 1840. During territory adjustment, check for added or reduced relays. Reference M1859. Though not mandatory, it is recommended to fully adjust one route at a time prior to moving all territory. Review all available Core reports. And it's got your resources, and that's it. Another thing for Core, you got to have the Core discussion with the carrier, right? Going over the things that you are going to do with Core. That's critical as well. The biggest case I ever won was out of Woodbine on the 6-day count. They didn't give us all the information we requested, and we requested that Core documentation, and we didn't receive any of it. The manager got up there and testified the formal Step A. Under direct questioning, he stated that the adjustment was proper. It was done properly through Core. The Core memo was followed. And so under cross, I think I've talked about this before. Under cross, I asked him if he was positive that they did the route according to the Core memo, that was followed to a T. Absolutely was followed to a T. And I said, and so you saw the Core memos, and so you know what you're talking about, obviously. Yes. Well, we didn't get the Core memos. So we requested them. We didn't get them. He just testified that he saw them, so they do have them. They can't tell me that they don't. We used that again, but one of the biggest things was the guy who did the 6-day count, who was over it, who's also over the one that we're doing now. When I asked him about the Core memos, I was just throwing this out there. I just wanted to show the arbitrator that they did have the core memos. And so I said, so when you had the carrier consultation, when you went over the core memos with them, the data, he didn't know what I was talking about. He had no idea that they were supposed to do a discussion, a consultation based off of the core. And so I said, did you not do the consultation? The core consultation is required? Well, where does it state that at? That's what he said. Where does it state that at? I took him to the core memo. And he said right there in front of the arbitrator, I've never seen that. I've never seen that. So they lost about $400,000 on that one. So make sure that you go over these things, especially if you're going to be a representative. Informal, formal, DRT, advocate. Make sure you're well versed in the 6-day counts. There's 78 pages of it right there. And so next week we'll keep doing it. Next week we'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. All right? So 78 pages of 6-day count. Hopefully that wasn't too boring, but I just think that the more that you listen to it, even if it's redundant, it's just going to sink in, man. That muscle memory will take over in that head. Take care of your carriers during 6-day counts, right? Take care of these stations. They're out for blood. We're going to punish them for it, all right? I love each and every one of you. I really do. And I'm going to do whatever I can to educate you, to fight for you. Change is coming. I promise that. It's as bad as it's ever been, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Junkyard dogs are going to take back over this union, right? We're going to get this thing righted. Don't sweat it. I promise you that. We're going to get this thing righted. You have a fantastic week. Again, I'll be in 6-day counts all week. I'll be kind of out of pocket if you try to reach out to me. Don't take it personal, but I'll just be out of pocket, okay? Because I got to take care of my carriers and myself through this 6-day count. But love each and every one of you. I will talk to y'all next Sunday. We'll get back into some more 6-day counts, all right? Y'all take care now.